This is a response to Rennie DeVries. I appreciate the dialogue that comes from some well-considered thoughts that you've put out there. And I apologize that although I show a lot of interest, I'm also extremely busy. So as I process these things, it's a week or two sometimes between. But I too value this kind of dialogue. So the Reformation, the Second Reformation, really that we're talking about, whether it's political, social, religious, it's definitely upon us. I agree. Who's leading that and how it's working could be much discussed, but I think we would probably say it's bigger than all of us. One of the things I've really noticed is that although a lot of people come together for a desire to see things refreshed and renewed, the means and basis for those still vary. And we come from different places, so we carry different perspectives for sure. My view at the moment and long-standing is that morality is a basis that, it connects heaven and earth for one thing. It also is a cutting edge for what we tolerate and what we don't. We may not have the power to overthrow an evil kingdom, but we certainly have the power to individually stand and say no. The biblical history, which is by far the most extensive history that we know of, we can get into other records, Bhagavad Gita, etc. But on the biblical record, which is highly substantiated in our Western understanding of history, there were folks like Daniel who stood up in high places under difficult circumstances, impossible circumstances, and yet their testimony stands, and the darkness of those kingdoms yielded in most strategic and specific ways. So today we see our government at will doing terrible legislation to tighten the noose, to ruin our families, to desiccate our children. We are beyond a political argument here. We are into existential issues. And it's not hard to read the writing on the wall where this is going. It's also sobering to see how in history these things come and go. And recently you'll get a little bit of relaxation, and then the same party will come back again in a different way. It's obvious that the strategies run deep, and they're across the board of politics, as well as economy and our institutions and everything. There was a great book written, there's the, suddenly I can't think of the name of it. There are some great exposure books written about the history of banking, and there's one called The Killing of Uncle Sam by Rodney Howard Brown, co-authored, talking about the history of the last couple of hundred years, how the banking became darkly insidious, and you can see the darkness of that now, the fingers of it threading through all of our society as the options for control are exercised. Morality is still, in my opinion, the cutting edge, because why would anyone, by complicity, by compliance, by toleration, by silence, give any nod to dishonesty? What are we doing when we can think of that little white lies are okay? Honesty becomes both the offensive weapon in the sense of moral legitimacy, and it's also the loophole by which we are hooped. Look at Epstein's Island, if you will, how beyond our imagination the power of this world is controlled. Look at our government. Look at even locally on our local governments. There's a secret club behind all that that has a dirty affinity and a false sense of legitimacy that's overwhelming to look at. But each of us, one at a time, we are able and authorized, if we're willing to stand in truth. We're down to bare bone knuckle fights now on a spiritual moral level, like Pilate and Jesus. What is truth? Pilate says as he slinks back, losing his footing, remembering his wife's warning, and seeing Jesus completely unshaken, calm, cool, and collected, cutting like a hot knife through his butter of his political power. So there we are for today. I hope that's stimulating for you, Rennie, and whoever else. It puzzles me how I see a lot of people backing away from these subjects. They're sticking with the popular ones, claiming that that's populist politics. It's not, because it has no traction. So we must get to the roots of our lives where we stand, I believe, and a small step forward in that direction is a big step for mankind.